Welcome to Political Empire, your daily source for inland politics news and analysis. I'm Jeff Horseman with the Press Enterprise and PE.com. And you've listened to her on KBCR, you've read her columns, you've read her blogs, and today we are joined by columnist Cassie MacDuff, who's going to share some of her thoughts about some recent goings-on in the Inland Empire. So Cassie, welcome.
Thank you.
And so we're going to kick off by talking about something you know a lot about, which is the city of San Bernardino. And a lot of our readers are familiar with what's been happening lately in terms of the bankruptcy, in terms of the arrests in unrelated cases of two council members, one of whom has since stepped down. And I guess I just want to ask you, I mean, it seems like there's been a lot of misfortune, particularly in the past year or so with this city. And what's your take on it? I mean, is the city just kind of cursed, or have there been other factors that have led to the city, having this string of incidents? I mean, what do you make of all this?
Well, these two most recent criminal charges against the council members are not the responsibility of the city. One council member, Chaz Kelly, pled guilty to falsifying his campaign finance reports, essentially spending campaign funds that were raised for his campaign on personal purposes, which is illegal. The other one appears to be some sort of personal entanglement. At least what is alleged is that he falsified Craigslist ads, to bring attention to a former lover in a negative way. And he allegedly used his city cell phone and falsified a city memo from the police department and date stamped it with a city hall, city council office date stamp. That would be the only real involvement of the city. Otherwise, these are personal actions by members of the council, unrelated to policy-making decisions on the part of the council. Now, they were members of the council who were there when the city went into bankruptcy, but as far as these criminal charges, I don't see them as related to the city's bankruptcy. Okay,
so I mean, is it just something that, might have happened regardless of whether it was San Bernardino or not? Or I'm just wondering, is there something about, the city historically that, leads to, the circumstances in which it finds itself today?
Well, I think the unique thing about San Bernardino is that it's a charter city. Most cities are governed by general law, and that is uniform. San Bernardino, when it was formed 150 years ago, created its own charter, so it has its own unique structure. One of those unique things is there's an elected city attorney, and a very strong personality occupies that office, who's been in office for longer than any other public official in San Bernardino right now, in City Hall. And that has a bearing on the politics of the city. Jim Penman has certainly been an opinion leader in San Bernardino. But again, as far as these personal debacles on the part of council members, I mean, I don't think the city structure really governs that. Look at the political malfeasance in the city of San Jacinto, where council members were accused of misuse of campaign funds as well. It can happen anywhere.
Okay. Speaking of other cities, Moreno Valley, a lot been going on there. There's an ongoing political corruption probe. Just this week there was an announcement of a lawsuit by 3 former city employees alleging they were retaliated against and outlining allegations of favoritism and other kind of misdeeds on the part of city officials. When you look at something like, the city of San Bernardino and you look like Moreno Valley, do you see any type of parallels or not really?
Well, the parallel that's been drawn is they have similar sized populations, similar demographics, but I really think that's where the parallels end. City of San Bernardino has a very fractious, combative council. Right now, the council in Moreno Valley, other than one member, pretty much march in lockstep. I mean, they're in agreement on the direction that they're going. The interesting thing is that there's a proposal, I think, on the part of the mayor in Moreno Valley to make it a charter city. And with the model of San Bernardino in mind, I think that's a little worrisome.
Okay, and moving on, you recently wrote about Bob Botts, who was a Banning councilman who recently just decided to resign, and he cited some frustration he had with the way the council was going and how it was working together. And well, again, remind readers of kind of what your take is on this.
Well, I found it troubling that someone in the middle of a term to which voters elected him would step down. He wasn't charged with a crime and ordered to leave public office like Chaz Kelly and San Bernardino. He didn't resign after being charged with crimes like Marcelo Coe in Moreno Valley. But what it does is, I think it disenfranchises the voters, because now there will most likely be an appointment by the remaining council members. A lot of cities, they have the option of calling a special election, but they don't want to do that because it costs a lot of money. So what they're doing is appointing someone who probably is someone to their liking, who will follow their policy direction. And so I felt that Bob Botts should have served out his term. It was just another year.
All right. Well, Cassie, thank you very much. I appreciate, as always, your insight and your expertise on this. We hope we can have you back. And thank you, as always, for watching Political Empire. We'll see you next time.